Heavy Metal Sunday with Van Halen, Scorpions, Ozzy Osbourne, Priest, Crew, Quiet Riot was outsold everything else by 2-1. That's how popular it was. And I think, wasn't that the first event where a band, i.e. Van Halen, picked up a 1 million advance for an appearance at a festival?
Yeah, I mean, now it seems like the dollars have changed so much. I mean, there's lots of acts now that get $1 million to, a show, but there was nobody getting $1 million then. That was, bands were still well paid. Of course, if they could sell out arenas, they were getting well paid. But you got to remember, tickets were what, $15 for most shows. Now they're not even close to that. So it was a different era altogether. But that was a massive show. And by that time, it was 83. So we actually did, obviously we graduated through the ranks, and it was kind of no big deal. I mean, it was as big as that festival was. It was like, yeah, we're used to playing in stadiums. This will be bigger than a stadium, but it's a big. Do
you remember seeing Eddie Van Halen on stage? What was your initial reaction if you saw him? If it was the first time you saw him, was it some sort of like wow moment?
Yeah, I mean, Van Halen's a great band. Eddie's a great guitarist. But I think the guitarists that I personally tend to gravitate towards, of course, I love Rick's playing. Obviously, I'm biased there. But other guitarists, I think, that have come out of more of the British mold that came from the Ritchie Blackmore school or the Jimmy Page school. And to me, those guys, and again, I'm a drummer, so who am I to say this? But, to me, it gets back to the blues. It gets back to, Albert King playing guitar and things like that, and how they adapted, blues guitar to rock, how Eric Clapton, through the Yardbirds and so on, and how that evolved. And so many, as you know, Tim, so many great guitarists came from the UK.